Oh, so the spider is purple. With these blue blockers, everything gets orange, yellow, or red, and sometimes green. And oh yes, the crystal is blue and the sword is also blue. So hello, it's me again, Jefferson Tomasella, and this is not the game I'm doing. It's just a cool GPT made image of a boss fight, and I'm just using it so maybe this image brought you here. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing a devlog for my game. And what game is that? For now, the only idea I have, besides some things I have on my mind, is this is a game where I want to join Stardew Valley with Zelda, A Breath of the Wild, and some other cool stuff, but mainly is that. And in pixel art, 2D top-down like the old school Zelda games, Link to the Past, and I also wanted to do something like a Link Between Worlds, but I'm not going into 3D. So let's stick to the Link to the Past as the main reference. Like Minish Cap, I love Minish Cap and as well, and others. But for now, last time we made this, I made this nice improvement where the user can actually cut something if there, yeah, maybe I didn't do it right. Okay, and I said it was not nice. I had to change this system, this interaction or cut system, slashing system at all. And I also said I'm going to change from that beautiful pixel art, but that's bigger, like this is 48 by 32 pixels, and to something more 16 by 16 square pixels, something smaller. I'm using this candy pack. I got, let me open this for you. So this is a nice mix of a lot of candy packs, and here is Kenny. I love this, and those I'm using are Creative Commons 0, CC0. That means you can do anything you want. You don't even have to, I forgot how to say that. We don't even have to give credits to those who did that, but I love to give credit. So Kenny did this, and what I'm doing, I got like this tiny stuff here, tiny town, tiny ski, tiny dungeon, and time battle. I think I got time battle as well, and I also got some pixel art UI elements, balloons. I want to use balloons and less text in the game, and more UI. Okay, and here more stuff, dungeons. Here I got some cars. I probably will not use that, but the trees and maybe the buildings, something like that, I'm going to use. The characters here and the ground, all the other stuff here. Okay, I wanna use that, and I decided to use this because this was my first option. I like this style, and I didn't see the characters here actually. I made the pack and I didn't see the characters, but I have a lot of characters here. And as this is just a prototype for now, and a brainstorm prototype, because I'm also deciding what I will really do for the final game. But without this first step, I cannot go further. So let's get back to our Godot. So what I accomplished here is what I showed before. Is a beautiful pixel art game that you can move and slash things around. Nothing beyond that. You can just cut some tree. It's not working correctly for now. And that's it. It's beautiful, but I don't want to use that. I want something more simple. So like if I use this, even close here for now. This here, it's much more simple than that one. I still need a lot of tweaks. I just got it from scratch. I didn't get the other. Oh, I think there's some graphic glitching here. Yep, I saw some glitches. I probably need to fix that, but maybe I start over again from the beginning. Okay, so I decided for this one because it's much more simple and quicker for testing. And where's my water? Here. And now we are going to get a step back, and instead of jumping into Godot and doing things, we wanna plan some things, we wanna design some things here. And if I can, in this live, maybe in the next streaming, or I don't know, but I want to dive into this game design document. Maybe a lot of you think that making games is just, oh, I have a cool idea, let me open Godot, Unity, Unreal, and let me start making games. I was like that before. And you can do that, but if you wanna do something bigger and more consistent and maybe even funnier, you need to plan some things, you need to prototype, you need to design, and you need to keep track of that, of all that stuff. So the game design document is a document about game design that tells what the game does and what we expect the game to do and how it will work and what's the desired behavior and what's inside the game and what's outside the game, what we are gonna really implement and put in the game and what we are gonna take off the game. I'm not only that, but I like the way Nintendo design their games, and I'm using some of that in my own design. I'm also using something that I learned while I was working with Narcolid, and a lot of my mentor team from he was from Ubisoft, and now I forgot the company name he's now, and he was, but now I think he's doing his own company, and he's a master level designer for me, and I learned a lot with him. So if you wanna know more, look YouTube for Team Does Level Design. There's a free course there, and you may learn a lot. Let me show you, why not? YouTube. No, I don't want this studio. This is another thing. YouTube here. So Team Does Level Design. Yeah, this one here. He's a cool guy, he teaches good stuff, so I recommend take a look. Let me chat this here. Okay, so oh yeah, and Kenny, if you wanna take a look as well, it's amazing. They have a lot of awesome 2D and awesome also 3D art, 3D package. So if you're into 3D. Sometimes I need to get this out so I can see the colors. This is a blue blocker, so we don't get much radiation from the computer, and for me at least, my eyes are more relaxed after a lot of time working on the computer. So this here, Kenny. Coming back to the game design document, so we need to put things here what we want the game to be and what we want the game not to be, and we try to stick to this document, but we change it along the way. When we are doing Narcolid, it changed a lot, but the core idea didn't change. We did a mistake there. We just added a lot of new cool systems, but that took too long. That took so many time. And Narcolid here, if you want to take a look as well. Let me put the link here. And a real nice stuff, but maybe we shouldn't do that and focus on other things to finish the game sooner instead of taking that long to finish it, or at least the part we wanted to do. So when we stick to this game design document, as I said, we can change that as we do the game. It's more possible to finish the game on time. So I wanted to make a game in 2 years, 4 years, 1 year, 6 months, a week. Doesn't matter how long you wanna make your game, because maybe you are in a game jam, and game jams usually have so little time, and like maybe 24 hours. I participated in a 24 hours in place game jam, and it was amazing. We got there 10 a.m. and then it took a bit more than 24 hours, and we finished like 2 p.m. the next day. And I just put a blanket in the ground and slept for 40 minutes, and that was enough for me. And the rest of the guys covered me while I was sleeping, and we took turns doing that, and we made a nice Viking game that unfortunately we didn't save or put into some Git repos or something like that. And sorry to get out over with this. So game design document. Before I do that, let me go and just do some game design here. What I want for this game, and what do you want for your game? Like I said, I want something that is probably, let me put some here, some Zelda plus Stardew Valley, and it's Zelda Breath of the Wild. Why Zelda Breath of the Wild? Because of the open world idea. So my main idea here is like I want to get the relationship part of the Stardew Valley along with the seasons part. So there will be winter, spring, autumn, summer, and I want the game to change within the seasons, and I want things to happen along that. The idea I have in mind is really a big game. I probably will take a decade to to finish a game like that for myself, but maybe I can make a team in some time. And but the first idea, the first thing I want to do with this prototype is I want a functional game. Let's jump here, that's better for typing. Okay, so what I want is my Zelda plus Stardew Valley, and I want a top-down exploration game that will be similar to Zelda Link to the Past. I just don't know the transitions between areas that will be that fixed or smooth. Probably smooth. It's better for this idea. This, yeah, smooth. So the Zelda Link to the Past is just for reference because I love Zelda. And top-down exploration game. I want interactions with NPCs and relationship, not just interaction, relationship with NPCs. You can have relationship, not only romantic relationship, but all kinds of relationships, or at least some kinds of relationship. Maybe you can have a partner, work partner. Maybe you can have uh, em employees. Like, oh, I'm an exploration company, or I'm an exploration guy. I have my team that I send to explore some other things, like a resource management part. And not now, but let's go back. This is the prototype. Prototype idea. So relationship, let's make this more clear. So my top-down exploration game, I can, oh, what can I do? I can move, I can attack, cut, or interact with the world. Let's put things. Okay, I can attack. On the attack, I can hurt monsters or cut, open paths, fight, navigate. So I can change this instead of move. I can fight, I can navigate, I can puzzles. I like puzzles. I want to make some puzzles. Pushing blocks, so I can push things. I like the idea of putting like bombs or magnetic thing on the Breath of the Wild, but that will be some abilities. So fight, navigate, push things, and let me say just puzzles. Puzzles. I want to fight, navigate. The push things can come to puzzles. Fight, navigate, puzzle. What more? Interact. Interact. That comes to talk, to maybe wave, to give things, to buy, to sell. So interact. And we can come to back to that later. Relationship. Let me get some more water. Relationship with NPCs. So for this first prototype, what do I want? Let's say I will not make too complex. I want to be able to befriend. Okay, so I can befriend. I can date, and I can marry someone. I also can make a really bad relationship, so I can break up. I can make enemies, make people angry with me. Let's call this mess up. I can mess up with the relationship as well. So instead of befriending, I'm becoming more aggressive, or they don't like me. And I want that to change things. So maybe having someone that doesn't like you it's good for some other things, like having someone that hates you makes another people like you, or something like that. But for now, let's become here, just bring down these ideas. And now for the world. What do I want? I'm not implementing seasons right now. Maybe not even the day-night cycle. But I want the world to be a bit alive. Yeah, alive. And what do I want the world to be alive is like when I change some things here that will impact not only that area. So let's say I I help an NPC get their Woodstock, and not the rock and roll one, but I help them got their Woodstock, their Stone Stock, or anything like that, and then sometime later, other towns or another NPC can like they buffed or they got help from that NPC and they also get their shops or their stocks or a new item or something like that. So the world is alive in the sense of um, changes in one area impacts other areas. And that's for NPCs as well. Maybe I don't help a city from let's say a demon attack, and later on that city is ruled by demons or a dragon or anything, and if I do help, then that city will be prosperous with happy people. So yeah, that's in just one area, but changes in one area impact other areas, and also interacting with the world events changes outcomes. Or let's just put world events changes outcomes. So I can help, I can not help, I can be there, I can not be there. But as for a prototype, this might be too big. Maybe I start just with those. I start not using the world, thinking for now, yeah, I will stick to this. And for the first part, I'm not going to, not even marry, maybe date, that's okay, befriend and date. So that's part of a game brainstorm and a game design as well. We need to choose what stays and what get out. And why do I remove the other options? It's because I quickly saw how costly in terms of time it will be to make that. So let's stick to this relationship, a simple relationship system where I can befriend and date, and a top-down exploration game where I can fight, navigate, do some puzzles, and interact. In the fight, there is one other option instead of fighting. I want to give the option of non-violence, or maybe another types of violence or other possibilities, not only to get there and kill everything. So instead of fight, I will call encounter, because maybe I can encounter some monsters and I give them fruit or a nice food, and then they can become more friendly, and they don't attack me now, or maybe they remember I gave them something before, and every time I pass there They maybe they ask for more, or maybe they thank me and call me to join them and something like that. And that's because that's why I changed it to encounter instead of fight, because you can fight, you can not fight, you can do other stuff. And okay, navigate, encounters, puzzles, interactions. Great. For the game progression, I want something similar to what Nintendo does with the Zelda Breath of the Wild. That is, you have some abilities, and like there we have the bomb, the magnet, the time stasis, bomb magnet time stasis, and the ice pillar. And almost any puzzle in the game can be solved with one of those, or maybe more than one, and you can choose. And that's a kind of game design approach. I'm not good with names right now, but in this approach, you let me. Can I do this here? Okay. In this approach, no, not only my face. Blah 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 blah. Here. Ooh, I have a cool purple background. Actually, it's just a white wall behind me. Again, start again. In this approach, we build systems, and we actually build encounters and puzzles. And the way the player overcomes that is the way they choose. Like enemy camp, players can use bombs, they can stealth, they can do a lot of options with their abilities. And they start with all possible abilities of different things that they can do. Of course, you get new abilities, you improve, you get items, but you have the tools to overcome any challenge from the beginning. It might be really hard or might be easier, but you have all the tools from the beginning. So the level design and the game design here, it's focused around what could be nice to be here. The other way you can do is, there are other ways, but one other way is the main Ubisoft approach, and I like that as well on Assassin's Creed games, and it's guiding the player and unlocking abilities as they progress. So maybe you cannot go there yet because you're too weak or you don't have something, but you can later with a new ability. So that's have more backtrack, like they must backtrack to do some things, and of course they can try to do different ways, but some things you need to get a higher level, otherwise you will not even scratch the challenges. But there are also puzzle challenges you can do in any order as well, but the player do not have everything from the start and every needed thing from the start, and that's a good approach as well. But I want to get this, like the player starts with all their abilities. So where's my mouse? Here. Challenges. The challenges will be centered around systems. So player have systems to overcome the challenges, and the systems available from the beginning of the game. And of course, they can improve that system, those systems later. So you like, let's say you have a bomb. The bomb is weak, and you can make the bomb stronger, increase its area, make it destroys more, or you can throw them, but the bomb, the possibility to blow up stuff and open breakable things are there from the beginning. You're just making bombs better, but you don't need that to finish the game. You just need that to get like 100%, but to finish the game, you will not need that. That's the idea. You can finish the game with only the things you start. Yeah, I can call that. Okay, so I got my main game design, my top level game design idea for the prototype. I want a top-down exploration game where I can encounter, navigate, make puzzles, interact. I can have a relationship with NPCs, and my idea, you can have a relationship with any NPC. A monster that is intelligent, it's an NPC. Is an NPC. So you can have a relationship with a monster. Of course, you need to make them not aggressive or like neutral. Then after that, you need to make them to be friend with them, so you finally can date them, or maybe some ones you cannot date, but you can be friend. You can have a healthy relationship, and maybe get items or shelter or anything from that NPC. And maybe will be a really hard part, but that's an important one. So then I can be friend, I can date, and all my, yeah, let's say like this, I can finish the game with the things I start. I do not need like a Metroidvania. I love Metroidvanias, but Metroidvania, you need to unlock new abilities, you need to unlock new skills, and you need to backtrack so you can go further into the game. Here not. If you want to go to the Ganon's castle, you can go directly. And last game I was playing beyond Zelda is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I don't know if I can go right away. No, you need to do a lot of quests before you can finish the game. You cannot go right to the end and do that. And I want that. I can just try to go to the end. I have all the tools I need. I just need to have more skill, of course. When someone's try for the first time, it's probably impossible to beat the game that way. But when they play and get used to the systems, they will master the system so they can finish the game right away. Maybe adding more finishes, more endings could be a nice idea. But let's not stick to that right now. Okay, so this is an important phase. Now we need to go a bit deeper inside all those things and what we need for that. Let's get the first idea here with what we already have. So in an exploration game, a top-down exploration game, we need to move, right? And we need to interact with things. This one here still don't do that, and I need to make it much better. I am not liking what I got here, but we need to, if we're going to make a real game design, we need to be much more, we need to go deeper into that in more details. So I'm not going too deep there within this game design idea, this game design document part, but I need to go a bit deeper than what we have here. And the first thing we need to do is the navigate here. How does the player navigate the game, how they move, what blocks them, what doesn't block them, what how are the possibilities when moving. I can move everywhere. Will be there limits. Will be areas that I need to manually teleport to other areas, like entering a house and going to another map or another scene, like using Godot, or are going this to be in the same scene and I just remove the rooftop and I can see the house. All this becomes to navigation. So here, what do I want? I want like the player to enter here and go to another scene. I want the player, when they got to the edge of the map, they load another scene, or I want a seamless moving, so the player will not see they are changing screens and it seems like a single con, con a single world not made of parts. And now I really didn't decide this yet. I'm still trying to decide the way it will work. The way like A Link to the Past does is nice, with areas that can be more simple to do some things, because when I'm doing like a big world for the game, um, for now maybe you think, oh, I just put everything in one scene. No, when you're doing big worlds, you are going to have a lot of scenes, and I cannot open it right now because I need to install Unity here and install everything, but I'll try to do for another streaming, so I can show how we did in Narcolet, because we have a really nice map. Is a map showing the map here? No, just the mini map on top of here, but the map is huge. It's really gigantic, and we have crop it down to areas, and that those areas have small chunks as well. So when we got closer to an area end, it will load automatically the next area, so the player doesn't see the load, but maybe on a weaker computer it will feel the loading feel, because the game will lag a bit. It's not intended to, but on weaker computers it will lag a bit. And when you have 4 players playing, or actually with only one player, you always have 4 characters. If they are not on the same map, each one will load a map. So it seems that the entire world is always there, but it isn't. The world is loaded when it's needed, and there are different areas that are put together based on their position. Like, so we have a master scene, like this main scene here. It's a master scene that loads the other scenes here. So let's say this is level 1. Let me just do something. No, I don't want to do, let me just get the map here. So let's say this is my level 2 is here, and level 3 here, level 4 here, that connects with level 1 again. So right here I have nothing, because the player just cannot go there. Maybe it's a mountain, maybe it's a nested pool or anything. Or if I want to make things more smooth, I can build up all those areas in between as well. So instead of doing like I did here, I can do like areas of the same size, and whoops, so I can like doing this here. So I'm making the world a square, and I'm putting this together the way like Unreal and Unity I think does the same with this open world games. Is exactly like this. You build the game in chunks. You can actually build, but the engine will cut that and will load only the surrounding areas. So a big game seems smoothly, seems to be entirely loaded, but it isn't. Zelda Breath of the Wild does that as well. It have a lot of big square chunks where it loads some of them around the player, and it unloads other farther areas, so the game won't crash with a lot of things open. No game can hold the entire game loaded at the same time. It's for the computers we have now, it's impossible. And okay, so I need to decide which one I'm going to use, and I think that for simplicity I'm going to stick with the link to the past way. That is, when I got to the end of the screen or the passage, I load the next one, and it's a good way to do that, have a charm. And when I get to, I always get only one zone loaded. Maybe if I do a transition I need to load two zones, the one I'm getting out and the new one, if I want a smooth transition like I got to the end of the screen and it moves down. Or I can just go to a black screen, load, and put the new one, so I only have one scene loaded at a time. And for now, for simplicity, let's get here and prototype. Let's call this first brainstorm. And now systems. And the first systems is navigation. So my navigation system will be Zelda link to the past style, and that means you can remove this one here, and that means that one scene loaded at a time unloads current scene and loads the next scene when getting to the transition area. So when I get to the edge of the screen, or a door, or maybe a cave entrance, it will go to a loading screen, it will unload the current scene and it will load the next one, so you only have one scene loaded at a time. Okay, so this is my first navigation decision, important decision here. And is there someone watching? I cannot see here. I need to go to my my here. Just a second. Twitch. I'm just curious. No, there's no one watching. That's okay. But if you're watching on YouTube, take a time to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that YouTube will give it to more people. So let me close my Twitch here, and let's keep doing a bit of the game design document. Oh, Jefferson, you're not showing programming and Godot and level designing. No, not now. Now it's an important part that even a prototype, even a simple idea, unless you are just making a tutorial to learn things, you should, if you want to make a game, let's say I want to make a game with what I learned and learn more in the process and build portfolio, make a game design document, GDD. it's really really important. If you know him, the pirate software streamer, he I don't know if he still host uh, the GDD uh, game jams, but he does. I participated in some of his game jams, and it's amazing. The game jam is just to make a GDD. You can do for a simple game, for a complex game, you just need to make a GDD. And of course, there is the next uh, game jam is making the game you did in your GDD the best you can. And I also want to hold some game jams when this profile is have more followers or subscribers. So it doesn't matter making it doesn't make sense making a game jam with no audience. So I will definitely do that later. So do a GDD. Even if it's more simple, you don't have to make not even this complex. You can make it more simple, but if you write down what you want to do, you can check if you're going on the right direction. It can say something like I said before, I want to make a Zelda plus Stardew Valley game. It's a GDD, but it's important that when your project gets bigger to narrow down and give more details to every area. So like here, navigation, one part is level transition. Level transition. Title 4? Yeah. So it's a Zelda Link to the Past style, one scene loaded at a time, unloads current scene and loads the next scene when getting to the transition area. Okay. What more do we have in navigation? And controls. It seems simple, but it's interesting to detail that. Controls. So controls will be the basic top-down controller, but we have to decide what we can do, what buttons are we going to use, how many buttons are you going to use, how many options the player have. Like they can walk, okay. Do I need a game controller? And do I need the keyboard and mouse, only mouse? How the game works, how the player controls the game. And navigation, of course we have more controls. We need UI controls, menu controls, and if we have conversation controls. But for now we are on the navigation. So what are the navigations control? Big step down controller actions that are arrow keys, or WASD, like the Braki says, or WASD, WASD keys, and analog left stick from controllers. And okay, maybe if I'm going to use, I'm not going to this is not going to be a 3D game with so many actions. It will be much more simple. So I want to use the directional buttons for other things. So I also use directional buttons for movement. Oh yeah, let's say movement here. So my movement will be let's not use that slash. Okay, so I use arrow keys, WSD, left analog stick, directional buttons. Now I have interaction. What will be the controllers for interaction? I can interact with a talk button, or do I want to make a generic interaction that will interact with anything? So uh, do I need an attack button, more than one attack button? Do I need to throw button? What what interactions will I have here? Movement? Okay, it's only this movement. Will there will we have a dash or a run button? No. For me, if the game uses stamina to run, I don't like stamina, but if the game uses stamina to run, okay, you can put a run button that uh, uses stamina, and you will not be using that run button all the time. But like Mario games, and it's already building like in your collective consciousness that the Y button runs in Mario, or it should be that in platformers, and platformers need to run. But with a lot of testing, with people that doesn't play much games, and even with some gamers, not hardcore gamers of course, but people that play more games, sometimes the run button, they forgot about that. And for me, if a game need for me to press the button all the time, it's not costly, or it doesn't use stamina, then I prefer to remove the button entirely. Let me make me bigger a bit. So I prefer to remove that button entirely, so I'm not going to put run button here. Maybe a dash that you can use that a single dash and then to wait a time to use a dash again. And if you can dash all the time, there's no point in not in adding a dash at all, unless you can have some nice things with that, not just only movement. But the basic movement will be a simple movement without run. And for interactions, okay, now I'm thinking about that. Do I want uh, a more complex interaction with other options? Like there's a button to try to talk, there's a button to try to like to do other interactions not with NPCs. Like if there's an NPC close to a lever, if I press the talk button, it will talk to NPC. If I press the interact button, it will uh, trigger that that switch. Okay, and if I have only one button, it will try to do a preference between two things if they are close enough to the interaction range of the player. So I'm close enough to the NPC and to the lever, and which one it will choose if I have only one interaction. That are a more deeper design we need to do. I'm not going to dive into that right now, but there are things you need to think about before, because when you're building up your system, when you're making your code, you need to know which direction to go. Or programmers, if you're not programming your code, a programmer need to know, oh, how this will behave when I get to this. How is the preference, the precedence, what the game tries to do first, interact with a lever or talk. So that's the main decision in putting one button to interact with everything and more buttons to do different things. But I'm go for the one button because putting so many interaction options in different buttons may not it will make things much more complex later. So one interaction button. The precedence I will not go over here, but we need to put a order of like a priority. You can just put a priority to always try to talk first, or add another button to change focus. So if I'm close to two things and I cannot get far away with the first, like I cannot go close next to a button or to a lever because an NPC is always next to it and I always try to talk before. So that's another decision. I'm not making it right now, but I'm thinking about it. So one interaction button, that is the main thing. But let's go for the next things. I have an attack button. Do I have a ranged attack, a melee attack, or a throw attack, uh, a special skill attack, or different buttons? Or I have an attack button and I need to choose what option I am using. I'm going to attack with my melee weapon, I'm going to attack with my ranged weapon, I'm going to attack with my skill or magic, I'm going to attack with my item, or I'm going to attack... Okay, so how will that work? Thinking about now, maybe having two attack buttons, maybe one ranged and one melee. It's a nice idea, instead of just one, but but only one can go nice with this kind of game, more simple, that can run in a controller that's not a keyboard or an Xbox or PlayStation controller. Let's say it can run on a NES, a NES controller. That simple two buttons controller. It actually has more than two. We have L. Oh, we do not have the L and R buttons on the original, but do you need more buttons? Can it run in a controller that's more simple? Or not? Nah. We know almost everyone will play this on keyboard, and with modern controllers like the Xbox or the PlayStation or even the Switch controller. And we have a lot of buttons, but it doesn't mean we need to use all of them. Are going to have jump? Okay, that is... I'm thinking about buttons right now. So I have an interaction, like an attack button. A jump? Will we have jump? No, doesn't make sense in this game. If we need some jump, we are going to jump from a ledge or an edge or a cliff or something like that. So you don't need a jump button. We need interaction and attack. I'm thinking I'm going for the two attack buttons, or let's say two... Not interaction, because interaction is one. The two use buttons. You use your weapon, you use your skill, so you can equip skills to one another and use the way you want, like left and right hand. So I have a shield on my left hand. Instead of attacking with the shield, you raise the shield so you can block. Or yeah, I go for that two buttons to use skills and attacks and items. One for interaction. It leaves room for the third one. I don't know. For now, let's go for... We can change that later. To use items dot skills slash yeah items slash skills. buttons, so I can assign things to those buttons. Okay, so we have like a choose lot attack button, let's say in the X and Y in the Xbox, or the Switch controller, and the square and triangle in the PlayStation controller. In the keyboard we can go for space. Space may be the interaction button. Usually use the E key for interaction. Yeah, the E key can be interaction, space can be uh, use one, and maybe F or Q or even Z can be the use the second use button. That's okay. So one interaction, two use. What do we have more in controls here? Remember, it's only navigation. We are not going inside menus or other stuff for now, just in the navigation. Okay, we have now this. Open door will be interaction, open chests, open anything, grab items from the ground, the same one interaction button. I can add a fourth button. I can use that fourth button. So all the face buttons will be used by default. What kind of interaction can I have? Like I said, I want the skills, the player to have skills. Do I need to equip the basic skills? Like there will be 3, 4, or 5, I don't know. But the player needs to equip them and use like almost all games, or each button will have. No, the player will need to equip them on those use items skill buttons here. So okay, I already have room for all equipments or all skills. I still have an empty button that will not be interaction, that I don't want to be run, because I don't even know if I'm going to put like stamina. Oh, and again there are people trying to sell viewers. Uh, can't I cannot do nothing here. I wanted to report or block that. Can I see just a second? What can I see here? Don't like don't know how to do that. I need to know Twitch a bit more and see how can I get rid of that. But okay, I'm still on my level, my game design here. So I didn't decide. Let's go back here. Puzzles interact. Interact will also trigger puzzles or do something like that. That stuff. Um, mhm. Okay, so it was my wife. Uh, Navigation, puzzles, interact, encounter. Maybe a dodge button. It's usually used on one of the. If if I want a dodge button, I will be probably more focused on combat. And of course, I want a nice combat system here. But for now, I will not dive into that. I need to be more to decide other things before we do that. So for now, okay, we have those three options. One interaction button and two use buttons that we use skills or items that we assign to those buttons. Okay, great. So what more do we have here in controls for the navigation system? It's only move and interaction. I don't need anything else. Okay, and what more do we have in navigation that is not a control and is not a level transition? Are you going to have heights, different heights? It will be only one height, and we simulate heights like going up a ladder will bring us to another height, but the game doesn't really use heights. It's just we put blocks on the directions so the player cannot go up and down so easily. They need to go to some ladder or stairs or another stuff. Or are we going to try to simulate? No, I'm not trying to simulate anything. That would be more simple. Okay, so no heights. It's just one horizontal and vertical. It's just one ground. And all other grounds that should be at another height are only like simulation or visual stuff. It's not this 3D. In 3D, we are not going to use the z-axis, only x and y. Okay. Oh yeah, important. I am on movement. Navigation level transitions, control. No. Movement. Is my movement going to be a 4 direction or 8 direction? Right now, what do I have here? It's a 4 direction for now. And I like that 4 direction. It's more simple. It have different constraints. It have different challenges from an 8 direction. Art-wise, I probably need another set of animations, and I don't want that. So I think I'm sticking to the 4 directions instead of 8. Make it more simple. So type 4 directions. Up, down, left, right. Just that. Not up, left, down, left, bottom right, and top right. Movement 4 directions. With blocks, things that block the player from moving. Okay. Yeah, my movement's 4 direction. What more for navigation here? Yeah, I think I need to stop right now because I'm really slow. I cannot even think correctly. So, okay, we got some really nice decisions here. I need to get back to this and probably rebuild this, but that's okay. We are expecting that because we're now deciding what we want. And that's it for now. So why are we doing the game design document is because if we don't do that later on, we probably will forget, and if more people come and join, they don't know what to do, they need a starting point, and even for yourself, you probably will forget your decisions on a larger game. So it's really important to make those decisions and write down those decisions so you know the direction you're going, you know what you need and what you don't need. And instead of wasting time with, ooh, that would be cool to go on our game, you see, does that work with what we have planned? Does a flying system work on a 2D game exploration that will probably not populate the entire world if places the player can fly? No. I don't want to make a fly system. I can make like a flight system that will bring the player like a fast travel system disguised as a fly, but a fly system that the player can freely fly around. The game needs to be ready for that, and this game will not be ready for that. So I get this off. I don't go with it. And okay, that's it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being there. And if you're doing your games as well, keep keep going. Just keep going. Yeah, 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 yeah.